There is a reason why money feels emotional, and it has nothing to do with numbers. Money is not just a tool. It is a trigger. For many people, money activates emotions long before it activates logic. Tension, fear, guilt, shame, pressure. And these emotions did not begin in adulthood. They began in childhood. Psychology shows that the human nervous system is shaped early in life. Long before we understand language, we absorb emotional patterns from our environment. We learn not through explanation, but through observation, tone, silence, and repetition. This is especially true with money. As children, we watched how the adults around us reacted to money. We sensed their stress, their fear, their arguments, their resignation. And without realizing it, we internalized those reactions as truth. This is what psychologists call emotional conditioning. If money caused anxiety in your home, your body learned that money equals danger. If money caused conflict, your body learned that money equals tension. If money was scarce, your body learned that survival requires sacrifice. You did not choose these beliefs. They were installed before you had the ability to question them. Carl Jung understood that the unconscious mind is formed through early emotional impressions. He called these impressions complexes. A complex is an emotionally charged cluster of memories, sensations, and beliefs. Once formed, it operates automatically. Money trauma is often not a single dramatic event. It is a pattern. The constant worry about bills, the fear of unexpected expenses, the shame of not having enough, the guilt of wanting more. These experiences form what we can call a money complex. And complexes do not disappear with age. They mature with you. So now, as an adult, when money appears, the same emotional reactions are activated. Your body responds as if you were still a child. This is why you can be financially capable and still feel unsafe. Why you can earn more and still feel anxious. Why abundance can feel uncomfortable instead of freeing. Modern trauma psychology confirms this. Research by Bessel van der Kolk and others shows that trauma is stored in the body, not just in memory. The body reacts first. The mind explains later. This is why you may say, "I know this opportunity is good," while your body responds with fear. The nervous system does not respond to logic. It responds to familiarity. And for many people, financial stress is familiar. Another important layer is family dynamics. Family systems psychology shows that children unconsciously adapt to maintain emotional balance in the family. If money caused instability, the child may become hyper-responsible. If money caused conflict, the child may learn to avoid it. If parents sacrificed endlessly, the child may associate worth with suffering. These adaptations made sense at the time. They helped you belong. They helped you stay safe. But what protected you then may be limiting you now. This is how childhood money trauma becomes adult financial behavior. You undercharge because charging more feels dangerous. You avoid growth because growth feels destabilizing. You sabotage success because success feels unfamiliar. You spend impulsively because relief feels safer than stability. These behaviors are not flaws. They are survival strategies. Jung warned that when complexes remain unconscious, they control our fate. This is why people repeat the same financial patterns for decades, even when circumstances change. The mind evolves. The body remembers. Another aspect of childhood money trauma is emotional inheritance. Children absorb not only their own experiences, but the emotional state of their parents. If your parents lived in fear around money, that fear was transmitted to you. If they felt powerless, You learn that money controls you. If they believed wealth was not for people like them, that belief became part of your identity. This is not superstition. It is psychological transmission. Studies on intergenerational trauma show that emotional patterns can be passed down even without explicit teaching. You may be living out a financial story that did not begin with you. This is why healing your relationship with money often feels heavier than expected. You are not only working with your own history, but with inherited emotional weight. There is another layer of childhood money trauma that is rarely discussed. Silence. Many people did not grow up in homes where money was openly discussed. Instead, money existed as tension, secrecy, or avoidance. Bills were hidden. Conversations stopped when children entered the room. Questions were met with irritation or dismissal. From a psychological perspective, silence is not neutral. Silence teaches. It teaches that money is dangerous to talk about, that it carries shame, that it must be handled alone. Children raised in this environment often grow into adults who avoid looking directly at their finances. They procrastinate. They delay decisions. They feel vague anxiety when dealing with numbers. Not because they are irresponsible, but because their nervous system learned that money equals emotional discomfort. Jung described this as repression through absence. What is never spoken becomes shadow material. Another important dynamic is role reversal. In some families, children were forced to grow up too fast. They became emotionally responsible for their parents' stress. They sensed worry and tried to compensate. They learned to be careful, to not ask for too much, to not add pressure. This creates an unconscious belief that personal desire is dangerous. As adults, these individuals struggle to prioritize themselves financially. They feel guilt when earning more. They feel selfish when investing in themselves. They feel anxious when relaxing. Their system equates responsibility with self-denial. This is not a mindset problem. It is a developmental imprint. Neuroscience shows that early emotional roles shape long-term identity. The brain wires itself around what it believes is required for belonging and safety. Another consequence of childhood money trauma is chronic hypervigilance. Some people live in constant anticipation of loss. Even when things are stable, they check accounts repeatedly. They worry about worst-case scenarios. They struggle to enjoy abundance. From a trauma-informed perspective, this is the nervous system stuck in survival mode. The body has not learned that stability can last, so it prepares for collapse. This explains why some people sabotage financial calm. They unconsciously recreate chaos because chaos feels familiar. Jung warned that the psyche will recreate familiar suffering rather than tolerate unfamiliar peace. Peace requires trust, and trust must be learned. This brings us to an important truth. You cannot heal money trauma by telling yourself everything is fine. The nervous system does not respond to reassurance. It responds to experience. This is why awareness alone begins the process. When you observe your reactions without judgment, you send a new signal to the nervous system. You signal safety. You are no longer the child trapped in confusion. You are the adult witnessing the pattern. This witnessing slowly rewires emotional responses. Healing does not mean erasing the past. It means updating it. You teach your system that what once was dangerous is no longer happening now. This is a gradual process, not a dramatic breakthrough. And this is why compassion matters more than force. If you attack your patterns, they defend themselves. If you understand them, they soften. This is the foundation of shadow work. In the next video, we will explore why self-sabotage is not self-destruction, but an unconscious form of protection. Why the psyche would rather fail in familiar ways than succeed in unknown ones, and how working with the shadow allows progress without triggering collapse. Your financial patterns are not personal failures. They are emotional memories asking to be seen. Your financial story is not broken. It is unfinished, and you are still writing it.